Finally, I'm live. Okay. Damn time. This thing wouldn't allow me to go live by any means necessary. So I'm finally live and I finally got a notification that I'm live. That's at least something. Okay. Hang on a second, guys, because I had to go about it this way. Things are a little on the wonky side at this second. Anyhow, welcome to Restore Belief. If you are able to come and see this while I'm live, or whether you have to watch the replay because of what all just took place. So anyhow, welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I am Nikki. Hello to those that are coming in. I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you found me. Yeah, this is just absolutely nutballs. This is an internet issue. This is... Oh, I'm going to have to hide that one. I don't want to delete it. I want to hide it. Oh, for visibility, title, visibility. Make it invisible right now. Make it private. Thank you. Update. I understand the implications. Yes, update the video. Thank you. Put it into hiding. Okay, folks. I think I'm finally here. God, crazy. Okay, so let me double check to be sure that I actually am truly live. Because sometimes this gets wonky as F. So, oh my. Okay, apparently I've got that on. Okay, so live. Am I? Yes, actually I am. Okay, good. Hello. Finally. God, this is crazy. No matter what goes on, it's somebody screwing with something on my phone. Anyway, I am here. Tonight I'm going to be talking about something that came up because of somebody else. I was talking to someone about some information and unexpectedly got told, and I very much appreciate this because it totally shocked the hell out of me. So I was having a conversation with someone, and they mentioned, do you realize that you are one of the very few, I got told you are the only person that I know of in this person's history, and they've been in ufology for over 30 years. They told me that I am the only person that they have ever heard be able to contact and have, well, they said it was, they didn't say consistent, but they used a different word. I don't remember the word at this second because I'm trying to multitask and not doing a very good job of it. Anyway, and I got told that I need to be teaching Sorry, I need to clarify that. I need to be teaching mothers of hybrid children how they can contact their ET human hybrid child. Because apparently the person that told me this told me that I am the only one that they've ever come across in their lengthy history of being in ufology and working with a lot of people in their 30 years time. Actually, I think they're in ufology a lot longer than that, but that doesn't need to. I'm going to say 30 because it's just safer that way. Active link. Okay. And so that they only knew of one or two people who had that ability, who've been in contact on a, well, semi-regular basis, as I would put it. So this is not exactly what I had anticipated in talking about tonight, but because it's come up, okay, hang on a second. Active link in comment section. Okay. So that was kind of a, hey, Amy, that was kind of a heck of an eye opener to me, to make that realization. Whoops. Well, to hear it, number one, I mean, it was a hell of a shock to me. So we're going to have this bit of conversation about it tonight. I'm sorry. I hate this kind of distraction. It just irritates the living crap out of me. Okay, active link in comment section. Active link in comment section. Okay. The business side of things just drove me absolutely up a wall. Should be used to it by now. Okay. Yes, and that's taken care of. Okay. So basically, hey, Trace, hey, this is very, very important for many. I'm listening when you are ready. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I got told to teach it, and I'm like, I don't even know how the hell it's a psychic link. For me, it's a psychic, oh my God, ow. Okay, hang on. Apparently I hadn't gotten completely comfortable. You want to be sure that everything is done, and you got the bathroom situation done, and you got the teeth brushed, and that. Okay, and then the business side. So there we go. All right. So, how it happens for me, it's a natural thing. Okay. If you know that you are the mother of hybrid children, ET, extraterrestrial, and human combined, hybrid children, and you know that you have them, and you long and you miss them. I go through this quite often. Okay, I'm trying to get some more light on me. There we go. So yeah, I've got a human son who I love deeply and very much, and I'm very thankful and very fortunate to have him around me, and that we've got a good relationship. But I do not get to see, well, very often, my hybrid children, and I miss them very deeply. And a lot of hybrid mothers go through, or a lot of women who have hybrid children, they go through, if they know, they go through this because if you're in the kind of hybridization program that I'm in, or one like it, because there are numerous different kinds of hybrid programs that the ETs do, different ETs do. The ones that abduct me, one of the ones that abduct me are the Arcturian, ARCTURIAN. I had to think about that a second. And they're tall and thin and blue in appearance when they allow themselves to be. The ones that I know, they have a translucent film over their skin. I don't know how else to explain it. This is what I've actually witnessed. There's like a translucent, well, there is a translucent layer over their skin, and that layer can become Caucasian, or our human version of Caucasian, or it can become, in their natural state, they're blue. In other states, their skin, that color can go green. Different. It's a version of green. I would call it a seafoam green. Being in art, the blue, I can't even begin to. I mean, the eyes are blue. They have irises, and on rare occasions, you will see. Well, not really rare, but you don't see them very often. Let's just put it that way. You will see where the entire, like the whole eyeball is blue. I've seen that as well. So they're a form of what looks like a gray body, similar to a gray body is how I should say that. Long, lanky arms and legs. Fingers and toes are very much gray, like my words. And so basically, but they're blue. Their natural state when they're relaxed around people and doing their business, whatever that business is, science of some kind or another, on what I know this ship's as is consortium ships. I don't know it as a galactic federation. I don't know it as any of the other words or phrases that other people. I know it as a consortium ship. Consortium. And they're large motherships, basically, that come around. Wow. Okay. I just had a. Well, that's an experience. Sorry, I literally was just shown one of the ships out in space. Amy says a comparison of Arcturus and the sun. I not a clue. Some of them, I've been told, are from the Orion system. Some of the ETs that are on the consortium ships, because the consortium ships, there are so many different kinds of posted in the link. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. So the consortium ships, they have what a lot of other people call like a federation of planets, or a federation. That's what a lot of other people call it in the public. That's not how I know it as, but that's okay. I mean, it gets the idea across, and that's the biggest thing right there. And so you've got a number of planets and races and species of ET who have come together for different reasons, and usually it's to save a species for one reason or another. Not always, but quite often. So the human moms that get abducted, yes, Amy says Orion is constellation, many stars in it: Betelgeuse, Rigel, Anilem, Alan, it's not Atlantic, it's Alnic. I can't even pronounce that. Menaka, Syophan, etc. Yeah. So Alnatech. Thank you. Oh, I've heard of that. I've actually, wow. Okay, that actually brought back a memory of being on board a ship at the. Wow. Okay. Holy crap. Well, that was an interesting trigger, Amy. Thank you. So if you're a mom of a hybridized kid, Oh, it's one of the belt stars. Okay. Thanks, Amy. Very much appreciate it. So if you're a mom of hybridized children, and they're adults, because hello, the Arcturians, whatever. Anyway, they in the hybridized program, I've seen children grow really fast, really, really fast, mind-bendingly fast. Within a month, they are full-grown adults. That just I still have a hard time getting my mind wrapped around that one. I've also seen them where they're like teenagers a month later, and then a month after that they're full-on adults. So I've seen an awful lot of growth with these children. So point being, mama, there are things, if you are missing your babies like I do a lot, there are a lot of them that I deeply miss. One of the things that you need to realize and hopefully will remember is that a lot of these adult hybrid children, once they've gone through their education and their schooling, they'll go back on to, not all of them, but quite a few of them will often go back onto the consortium ships and become some sort of science. They'll be interested in the sciences, and you will get to see, you may not register it psychologically, but your heart, your body, every cell in your being will recognize that individual. Uh, for example, one of the things that I told this person was that I knew this female that was walking down a hallway with me. She was taking me to, actually, I've had both male and female, but this specific one, this specific ET, I didn't recognize her. I recognized the energy, and I couldn't place logically, I could not place the energy, and it was driving me nuts. It wasn't until I was around, because she was taking me from just coming on board and being stripped and put into a suit. Don't get me started on those freaking. I do not a happy camper with those things. But into a suit to be on board craft, and you walk barefoot on these, and it's a real mind bender. So I'm used to being in socks and slippers and shoes and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really big deal to me to be barefoot, and to know that I'm safe to be barefoot. So yeah, I remember walking down a hall, and this, oh God, so my human's 76, and she had to have been 6'5", 6'7", thereabouts. Trying to think of how tall my human kid is versus how tall she was. And she was quite a ways above him, but enough to where she wasn't quite 7 feet tall. Anyway, so we're walking down a hallway, and she's literally taking me to do the circadian rhythm bonding chair with my newborn. And it wasn't until I saw her around other children that it hit me really hard. And I was practically in tears. And she was basically telling me very politely that it's okay and that I will see her later. I don't remember seeing her later. That's the thing. I remember my time with my infant, with my newly birthed infant. I remember the time of being in my chair, in the circadian rhythm bonding chair. What else? And that was pretty much the end of. That was pretty much the end of the memory. And so there have been times, where I have seen some of my adult kids, hybrid kids, on board ship. It's just that one specific memory is the one that sticks out to me the most. I know that in the future, I will recognize an ET hybrid human child who will look like they are 7 or 8 years old. And I'll be walking down a hotel hallway. I'll be somewhere. This is what I have seen in my future. I know it will happen. Now, that child felt like mine. It's very possible that that is a hybrid. It's very possible that that child is a grandchild of mine and not one of my actual children. So I'm assuming I'm at some conference somewhere, at some future date, some paranormal conference, some UFO conference, and I unexpectedly see this child, this little girl. She runs from behind me, and her human, what looks like human, parent is quite a distance behind me. And this little girl goes running, and I'm hearing her footsteps before she passes me. And when she passes me, it's like our energy, we recognize each other. And so, and she stops and she turns around about, I'm trying to think of how far she was. Well, I was going to say 10 feet, but that's 10 feet and that's too far. So about 5, 6 feet from me, about 6 feet from me. And she stops, she turns around, looks right at me, and telepathically says hello. And she doesn't say hi, mama. She doesn't say hi, grandma or granny or whatever other term there are for grandmother. But she turns and telepathically tells me hello. And we instantly knew we were family. Now, I haven't had that experience yet, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking for, and I can't seem to get beyond the psychic image of the sounds and me stopping and turning around and seeing the female who was behind me. I know I can do that. I haven't, for whatever reason, been able to get to that stage to turn around, to look, to see actually who it is and what they actually look like. But I know that that child is born on Earth. I know that she comes from one of my hybrid. I know she comes from my genetic makeup. Let's put it that way. So I want to get into this. I'm at least wanted to give you guys an idea of what I'm specifically going on and talking about tonight, because this was such a shock to me that I was like, I can't possibly be the only one that has had that kind of contact. I know I'm not, but at the same time, it's not widely talked about. And I think a lot of women can get really frightened about talking about it. And I can totally understand why. Hello. The shit that I get about being I can't even fathom. I'm the fact that I'm even out publicly about this is a really big deal. But hey, Woo Writers. But yeah, it's something that I'm seriously looking at. Basically, what I do is that longing feeling that I get as a mom, the maternal instinct as a mom. There have been times where I've been crying, and I will psychically, it is a form. And just an FYI, I'm going to say this. So if you are a mother of hybrid, you are a human host to hybrid children. You are the mother. You are the biological mother of these children. You have the ability to have a psychic link and a psychic connection to each one of those children. You need to recognize that and realize that. Please recognize this. This is a big deal. When you long and grieve for that longing of your child, no matter what age they are, will feel it, because there is even, okay, so I'm going to tell you something. When my firstborn, who is 41 or 42 now, 40, even 3, I don't remember. Somebody else do the damn math. I don't give two shits, but at the time she was 40 years old. I begged, I pleaded, I cried, I carried on because I was in emotional, I wanted to see my daughter. And it grieved me something fierce. It was really difficult because I have no memory of my daughter at all. And the fact that when my human son was born, okay, I'm getting like almost a mind-splitting high pitch in my right ear. That's hierarchies. When it's that loud. I'm trying to say high and loud at the same time. Wow, you guys are about making me lightheaded. Whoa. Wow, it's about making my eye walls. Wow. Okay, I hit a psychic level. Woo! Whoa. I just got raised. Woo! Sorry, guys. This is unexpected. Wow. Okay, I got a psychic connection. Holy crapola. Oh. Okay, hang on a second, guys. Whew. I gotta calm this. Wow. Come on. Whew. That was intense. Okay, I need tree energy. I'll calm some of this. Whew. Wow. Holy cripes. Yeah, I got a connection to the hierarchies right now. Holy cripes. Whoa. Okay, somebody did that deliberately. Well, this is going to be an interesting night. All right, so basically, as I was saying, I had it before. Anyway, when you're a hybrid mom, you have the psychic ability to your children, okay? When I did that begging and pleading and grieving so badly, they basically, the ETs, from that specific hybridization program, they reached out to her. And we had a psychic link. And it was beautiful. And I got to see her. Now, granted, and I know what she looks like, and she's, oh my God, she's drop dead gorgeous. And actually, she reminds me of a human. We have a very famous human that we have here on Earth. It's not her. I'm not saying it's her. It's just the resemblance is just almost uncanny. So I don't know. I do not know who the fathers are of my hybrid children. I have no idea, with the exception of two of my hybrid kids. I don't know who any of the fathers are. For safety reasons, I will never. I've only ever recently, like in the last 2 weeks, stated something about one of my hybrid children. And it was privately said. I'm sure government probably heard it. I don't give two shits. I do, but I don't. But I keep the identity because I know the identity. I keep one of them extremely private because I don't want them killed. Okay? I know who they are. I know where they're at. I know what family they're in. And it's a soul agreement that I had with the Father over 1,000 years ago. So, and I told them, I will say this publicly. I did make an agreement over 1,000 years ago as a soul that if they ever needed the genetic makeup from me to create a child, was they had to come to me, and I had to remember that was part of our agreement. And I was allowed to remember big chunk of it, big chunk of it, stuff I've not told anybody, and I probably never will. I may write it later on in my 90s in a book. Hello, excuse you. But it is a really big deal to me who they are, what their life choice is. And the Father is a deep treasure in my life. The fact that I even remember him, and no, there was no sex involved. This is scientific, baby. This is not one of those programs where it's actual sex involved. This is all genetic makeup. This is all science. Oh my God, what is with the wow. Okay, you just put me up another level. Whoa, what the hell's coming tonight? Because you guys don't typically. Wow. Wow. Okay, so what the moms need to know is that you have the psychic connection ability. This is your child. You can reach out to that child. You can reach out. You're telepathic with them to begin with. When you're pregnant with these hybrid children, I've talked about this one before. I don't talk about this often, but I have talked about it before. Not only do you have a psychic link, okay, as a human mother with a human child, you do have a psychic link, okay? That's something that you need to understand. Us human moms need to understand that we may not, and this is why some women have dreams of whether they're going to have a male or a female infant. And that's a big deal. That is your form of psychic connection to your infant. With a hybrid, with a human ET hybrid infant, the psychic link, you can have full on sentence conversations with these infants. Okay. When the soul is first incarnated into the infant, you have an ET of an adult nature talking to you. Midway through your pregnancy, however long that pregnancy is, whether it's 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 months, usually they're not longer than 5 months. Mine are 3 months. Well, they have been for a lot of years, but in the beginning, they were a lot longer. They were quite a bit longer. So, you have a psychic connection. Matter of fact, what I found out with my last 3 children is that they can see through your vision. They can see through your eyes. They can feel what you're feeling. They can teach you things energetic wise that if you allow yourself the openness, with your hybrid child, infant, with your growing hybrid infant, before they are removed from you. You have connection with that infant, and you can have a conversation about, let's create a code word, a code phrase, whether it's music, whether it's a phrase, whether it's a book, um, a paraphrase out of a book, or whether it's a visual image, whatever you choose, excuse me, whatever the two of you agree upon as that, in that link and in that connection, you can then know after they are birthed, that you can continue that connection. That, oh my God, again, you can continue that connection that way. So just be aware of that. That is a very big deal for a lot of women, because a lot of us grieve. We grieve the loss. A prime example of that with me was when my human son was born. I was terrified, and I didn't understand this until I started fully, actually, really remembering my hybrid children. Well, not all of them, but a number of them. And it was a mind bender to me, a true mind bender. I got distracted. A motorcycle went by and it totally messed up what I was going to say. I was going to say something completely different. So my point being is that create a code. It's like a password between the two souls, between your soul and the baby soul. Okay. So by the time you're halfway through your pregnancy, you will have a childlike mentality growing within you, okay, with that specific hybrid baby. Okay. They will be approximately, now this is my estimation, okay? Everybody I think is going to be different, but in my estimation, based on my own experiences, halfway through, so you go from an adult mentality of an ET, and by halfway through that pregnancy, you're looking at the mentality of, say, a 6, 7, 8, or even 9-year-old. So by the time they're born, by the time they're actually birthed from their gestational container, whatever that container is, because I've seen a couple different kinds. Once they're birthed, they're older. I mean, they're like their mental age of, I think, in my personal opinion, about a 9-year-old. Although I have seen on one occasion where my infant literally was like a monkey. I mean, he literally jumped out of the nurse's arms and onto a wall. I was like, what the hell? And he literally climbed the wall like he was a monkey. And I was like, what? And he was so happy and so excited to be completely released, and just had this natural ability. And he was the only one that I've ever seen do that. And then when I demanded that he come to mama, and come into he literally jumped from a very far distance straight into, and the other side to that is the ship is living metal, and so when he jumped, a wall showed up out of the floor. I mean, just like instantaneously, wall showed up, and then there were like finger marks or finger holdings onto it was I don't talk about that one very often because it really freaked me the hell out. Mentally, I was like, wait a minute, this is a infant. How is this even? Well, this specific baby, this is what he did. Um, and when he jumped to me, I got specifically told, demand that he come to you. That's how it was worded to me. I don't say that one very often. I really don't say that one very often. So demand that he come to you. And I said it once, and then I did it and I've never done a demanding tone on board an ET ship. That was my very first time where I was actually, and when I did it, I got, I, the look you get from your kids, and they're like, oh, that such a shock that they hear that tone and they're looking at you, and it's like, oh, damn, I'm in trouble. Well, that was the look I got. And then he jumped. And then he was like a normal infant. And I was like, how is that possible? I thought I was losing my mind. And I wasn't. This just what happened with him. And I still have no idea what species of ET, what race of ET. He was the first one that I remember that was this kind of green blue color. He was some form of Arcturian mixed with something else, mixed with human genetics. And I was just like, wow, okay. It was interesting because his hands and his feet actually shifted, which I had no idea that was even, that one was hard. But anyway, my point being, you have a psychic connection with your babies, folks. Ladies, make this realization because you can connect to them. Most likely, you have named privately in your own head each one of your hybrid children. I know I have. And they know that name because, hello, they're in your head. They're part of every aspect of you. Okay? So you're having conversations with them. If you're aware. If you're not aware, it's going to go right over your head. You're not even going to get it. However, if you're just waking up to this and you're making realizations that you're an ET abductee and that, oh my God, you're part of a hybridization program, and now it explains why your pregnancies, your valid, medically documented pregnancy that disappeared unexpectedly for no apparent reason, and you were 3 or 4 months pregnant, and the baby's no longer there, and you did not miscarry, yeah. Be looking into things like that, because that is where that's a hybrid pregnancy. That has happened to a lot of women. A lot of women. And it's been to the point to where some of these pregnancies have even been taken at 4 and 5 months old. 5-month pregnancy. You talking a significant infant of that size being removed, and you haven't had you have not miscarried the infant. You have not physically birthed that infant. The infant's been stolen from you. So when I'm going back to this, when I gave physical birth to my human son, I didn't understand why I was terrified 24 hours before he was born, and why I was truly terrified for about 24 hours after he was born, because for whatever reason, I had no idea why at that time, I was terrified that he was going to be taken from me. I now understand that feeling. I now understand why I had that sensation. It was something I never told anybody. I never talked about that fear. I kept that extremely private within myself. And medically, it caused that terror, because it was terror. Medically, that terror caused a lot of problems with the birth. And I ended up having to have a C-section. So pay attention. Pay attention to your your fears, and there's valid reasons for your fears. There are very valid reasons for your fears, and you just may not be remembering exactly why. I now understand why I wasn't afraid. I absolutely was not afraid of giving birth. I was afraid. I was truly terrified my infant was going to be stolen from me. And that is because the ET started me at age 13 years old, just before I turned 14. And so after I turned 14 is when they took my first infant from me, from my body. And even though it's a hybrid pregnancy and a hybrid infant, that's still my baby. Are you freaking kidding me? That is still my infant. That is still the genetic makeup of me. And I will love that infant. And I will love that ET. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. That is me being a mom. That is also me being protective. You screw with my kids, I'll come after your ass. So, and that's that's actually been proven. So I mean, I had one of my, I don't talk about this very often either, but I had one of my sons, one of my children. He was an adult and he was in the process of dying. And they came and got me and they said, "We need your blood." And I'm like, "Just allow me to live and take whatever you need. He's my kid. I'm there." I don't even think I remember sitting on the bed, and as I'm in the process of just about to lay down, I was gone. I was mental. I mean, they took me, they came, they told me, they were, I was in my computer chair at the other apartment. They expected me to be in my bedroom because my sleep patterns were very different at that time than they are now. And I wasn't. I was out in the living room. I was sitting in a computer chair. And they were in my hallway, so they were about 10 feet away from me when they came in. And I was being telepathic spoken to. And I looked up and I couldn't see them, but they actually allowed me to feel their energy. And I got told what had happened to my son. And I'm like, "Take whatever you need. We're going now." And I didn't care what I looked like, what I smelled like, if I'd had my shower, if I had been running. These boobs, you don't run. No. It didn't matter what I was doing. I literally stopped everything I was doing. And I'm like, "Let's go." And I remember sitting on the edge of the bed, and just as I'm, well, it's not exactly accurate. I put one knee, because I was about to put my knee on the bed and then roll. And that's all I remember, was putting my knee on the bed. and I was in this kind of like hunched over position so that I could roll onto my back so that and that's all I remember. That's why it's just easier saying it that I was sitting on the edge of the bed. It's just easier to say it that way um, because the bed was really low and it was too difficult for me to actually sit down and then get into bed. I had to get into bed at that time in a different position. So, um, but essentially, I was on my bed in the process and I was gone. I mean, they literally shut me down because they know I do not want to remember going up the fucking walls. I don't want to remember going out the windows because the energy going out a window is it's worse than it's like nails on a chalkboard, squeaky cheese type of it's grating energy on the body. And I don't know what there is about glass versus wood and sheetrock and electrical wire. You'll feel the electrical wires, but it's a different ballgame. But you go through glass, nope, nope, nope. I swear I draw the line. I'm like, you got to knock me out. Get me up on the ship, wake me up, and let's go. And that's essentially what they did. And I was gone somewhere between 7 and 9 days. They did a complete blood transfusion with him. They worked on healing him. He had a significant amount of blood loss, and they know. No matter how many arguments I've had with them, no matter how my feelings are with them, the fact that they're trying to save a child or a hybrid, to me, he was my child. Didn't matter if he was an adult or a kid. He was fully in adult form when this took place. And I know that I was on board that ship for 7 to 9 days of our days, but yet I was brought back within a sorry, I feel it's driving me nuts. There we go. I know I was brought back within about a 15, 18-hour period here on Earth. My body knows time. So everything in and when I asked about it much later on, I got told that I was out for about 9 days. I was away from home for about 9 days. So I don't understand how they do the timing on board ships. I don't understand. I know only because how do I say this? On board ship, the air pressure is very different. The air pressure barometer, I don't know what else to call it. There's a frequency on board ship. Your body becomes in tune like you've never had before when you're on board a true ET ship. One that has living, conscious living metal on it. You are part of the system, basically, in every way, shape, and form. So my point being is you do what you can for your babies. And I have on a number of occasions for my kids that I remember bits and pieces of, but that I remember almost everything. I remember the feeling of him nearly dying, and that did me in. And yeah, he became arrogant, which really pissed this mama off to say no end. But I think he learned a very valuable lesson, and the fact that his human mother came to help him he wasn't too enthusiastic about that. But I did, because he's my baby. Whoa, hello. Just had a bunch of stuff happen on my computer all at once. Isn't that fun? So, who's trying to fuck with the laptop now? Anyway, so my point being, and oh my god, this just needs to disappear. Okay, apparently this is not behaving properly. All right, so so you can psychically get off. Thank you. You can psychically connect to your infants, to your children, and to your adult hybrid children. Just know that. Know that you can make that connection. It is a psychic link, but you can also do it from your core, from the pit of your stomach type of thing. You go literally from the pit of your stomach to your head, to your brain, and from there it's with use of your pineal gland and your chakra system. And you can reach out. I've had a number of occasions where, for example, my son, that they did what I call the splice and dice of the genetics, to where they added human emotions back into the genetics. Now they're so advanced that they have that ability. Okay. There we go. They're so advanced that they've got the ability with the genetics that they can take things out that they don't want, and they can put things back in, trying different things to see what works. Well, with this specific hybrid child of mine, was a boy, and they did the human emotions with him. Sorry, I know better than having. I had something that had an allergy food in it, and I'm getting all itchy. It's one of my allergy responses. Sorry. So, I thought I had more time before I'd have to start having a reaction. Anyway, and yes, I have taken stuff for it, which is the other reason why I shouldn't be itchy. But anyway, so they allowed us, he and I, to have communication on a consistent basis. In fact, that's how I knew that it was because of him that I found out that they were taking the infants, once they are birthed on ship, on board ship, that ET ship, that once they are of a physical size, usually an adult size, physical size, they are then transported. So I found out that they go from Mars to Venus. Oh, that reminds me, because there are schools there are hybridization children. There are schools, educational systems so they go to Mars, because there's an ET base on Mars, and then they go to Venus. I do not know how. It's not anything I really want to know, how they go about doing that. But I wanted to make a correction regarding Neptune, because last time, I think, or two broadcasts ago, I talked about Neptune, being told that Neptune was a U.S. military base. There's it's not actually the planet itself; it's on the outside. It's something hidden. There's something hidden on the outside back end, or something on the outside of Neptune, and there's some kind of base there. It's in space. It's not in the planet itself, but it's somehow hidden from other things. I have no idea how it's hidden, but I wanted to make that correction before I went on. I've been trying to remember to say that while I've been on live, and I have not remembered it the last 2 times. So I just wanted I wanted to make that correction. So it's because of this specific hybrid child of mine that I found out that they were taking the children, the hybrid children that look like adults, to uh, the Mars base and into the city, and they have classes, educational classes for these children. And it's all ET based. I mean, they are not learning anything human. It's all ET based, and then they go from there to Venus. And I don't know how. I only know, really, I only know about the Mars base. But if it were not for my son, this specific son who allowed me to have consistent, the ETs allowed the consistent human conversations and connections, psychic connections between he and I. I have not heard from that specific son. No, it's probably been a year. I had, trying to think of how long it's been. I have had contact a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, I was crying because I was going through, I was going through a hormonal change, a hormonal shift again. Hello, that's an age thing. And so, and I'm not usually a crier. And this, I broke down. I was like, I miss all of my children. I want to see all of my kids. And the following day, I had 3 of my kids make contact with me. That's something I've not talked about in any of my support groups. That's not anything I've said before. I did publicly state that I have heard from 1. I've not stated before that I've heard from 3. And it's interesting because it's mostly the boys. The girls do not make connection. The only time that I've had connection with one of my daughters is my firstborn, and that was because they went and got her. And they made and she was at a very long distance away she was a number of galaxies away. And they did a specific kind of psychic. Sorry, I'm my foot is driving me nuts. They made thank you, Batty. I hate it when my foot is on cords. They made a psychic connection between her and where she was located. They basically they spanned the distance to make the psychic link. Now, I know that the connection, because I could feel it and I could sense it, was on board one of the consortium ships. That was where the connection was. And they connected at a distance with her. So they connected with her. She connected with them that were on board the consortium ship, and whoever it was on the consortium ship made the psychic connection to me. That's how far it was in order to make this connection, because they didn't want that. I was going through too much grieving at the time. And so this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. God, I'm gonna have to look at one of my books. Anyway, possibly even 3 years ago. It's been a while. I haven't heard word from her since, but she was with what I have always assumed was a handler. Now, it's very possible that this wasn't a handler. It's very possible that this other ET was the psychic link connection on the Consortium ship. I never found out her name, but she was just absolutely beautiful, just stunning. That was the very first thing that I thought of. I was like, "Oh my God, you are gorgeous!" And there was a smile, and I don't think I'll ever forget the smile. It really meant a lot to me that she was willing to make that connection. It really meant a lot to me. And you never would have known that she was 40 years old. Never. Oh my God, never. So I know that when and if necessary, you can make a connection. And if they're in our galaxy, that's the other thing. If they are within our galaxy, they can make the connection, although the psychic connection will be very soft. It'll be almost like it's muted, very soft sounding. And that's because of the distance that they're at. The louder it is, the closer they are. Okay. So like 2 days ago, today's Saturday, so Thursday. Is it Thursday? Is it Thursday that I was outside with trying to remember. I think it was Thursday. I was outside with the dog. And I look up to the sky and I made a statement about, well, I would love to hear from any of my kids if they're within the galaxy. And I know the connection is stronger when they're over Washington, Oregon, Idaho, or BC, or British Columbia, Canada, because I'm in Washington State. And I know that they will be able to make a louder connection. And I haven't heard anything back, but typically when I make that, I was going to say connection, that's not the word I was looking for. When I make that request and I put that energy out there, they're always listening. When you're an ET abductee, they are always listening because, hello, they've got implants in you, somewhere in you or in your aura. And yeah, that can happen. You can have implant devices in your aura. Experiencer of that one. And yeah, I do roll my eyes over that one. I get very annoyed by that one. So yeah, just because may not show up with, say you've been scanned from head to toe for whatever reason, CAT scan, or you've had other medical things and you're just trying to figure stuff out, and you've never seen, or no one's ever mentioned to you that they've never seen an implanted device, or they're not recognizing it. The newer ET devices will look like it's something innocuous inside the body. Okay. Be prepared for that. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. The older ones are made of, so those are biological. The older ones are made out of different forms of metal. And oh my God, I've got a tailbone. It's not a tailbone. It's sciatica. Excuse me. And my feet are all over the cords. Hang on. There we go. That's driving me nuts. All right. See if we can do this without screeching. Did a couple of screeches on Thursday. So my point is, for those who are moms of hybrid children, oh, now that's interesting. The color shifted. Anybody else catch that? Anyway, just be aware that you can make connection with your hybrid kids. And because of your, not psychic link, but because of your implant devices, they monitor what you say. I'm not joking. Okay. They will monitor what you say. For example, especially if you're ET pregnant, or what I call ET pregnant. There was a time when I was under attack and I asked for help from them. And within 4 hours, I had 2 7-foot-tall ETs going, "Come on, Nikki, you're not in trouble right now. What is it?" And it was a little bit more than that, but I was pissed when I got that essentially told to me. I'm like, "Well, you missed it, but you need to check us because we were under assault. We were under hardcore energy warfare attack, and you need to check us to see if we're okay." Because what took place was not okay. And they know that I'm hybrid pregnant. They know. I'm like, yeah, they know. And they were pretty pissed that one of their own, that's how we're looked at, as one of their own, had warfare. It really pissed them off. So I do not know how they came. I did not feel the Consortium ship. I know that it was a much smaller ship that came within 4 hours. Because for me to put out an emergency help beacon signal, however you want to classify that as, and I knew they felt the baby because the baby was terrified. And I was truly scared for us because there were a number of situations that were arising, and I was like, oh my God, this is not medically okay. And so for me to put out a warning and a help request, immediate urgent help request, they showed up within 4 hours. 4 hour, 5 minutes, or something like that. I mean, it was, they showed up. And the weird thing is that I didn't sense them. I didn't feel that. I mean, they were completely, really well cloaked. The fact that they walked in the way they walked in, and I mean, they startled me. I was in the kitchen at the time. They startled me, but, and I almost wanted to throw what I had in my hand at them. Was at the kitchen sink at the time. That would not have gone over well. Let's just put it that way. But neither what they said went over well with me, and I was really rather pissed over it. But they did. They checked us out, and they said that we were okay for right then and there. But yeah, they were not happy about the fact that the government had targeted us, and they were going to figure out what they could do. That really, I mean, it made an impression on me with how it was said to me, and I'm not even saying to you how it was said to me, but when you have something like that and they make a statement that way, these guys are real legalistic. So I was like, oh shit, somebody's gonna die. So, and at the same time, I was rather happy about it because I was like, don't target pregnant women. And that is what really instigated me being pissed at the government. They didn't give two shits over the fact that they were targeting a pregnant woman. Hybrid pregnant, didn't matter. That spoke volumes to me. I mean, it spoke volumes to me that they were targeting me to begin with, but it really spoke volumes when I was pregnant, which is one of the reasons why this infant, this hybrid infant, taught me some ET techniques. And I'm very thankful for it. And now the dog's drinking water, which of course you're going to hear a lot of because it sounds like something. Anyway, so I apologize for the sound in the background. He's really going at it. So, anyway, and somebody else is laughing on the other side. I can feel it. Point being is that think about it. Think about that connection that you want to make. Okay. If you're missing your babies, however many you've got, even if it's only one, you still have a hybrid baby. You still have a hybrid child, whether they're an adult or they're in toddlerhood or whatever, teenage years or whatever age they are now. They're still your connection. You still have that connection with them. And you most likely still have devices in you, somewhere implanted in you somewhere. So that means you're going to have a connection to the ETs. And that means that they're going to be listening in at some way or juncture. Now, I do know that they will listen in more so. What are you doing now? They will listen in more so when you're hybrid pregnant, before, during, and after. But if it's been a long time since you've had a hybrid kid, reach out. Oh, for Pete's sake. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hi, little one. Oh, the licky, licky, licky. Yeah, we're going to lick the arm. There we go. There you go. Oh, just got to calm down. Aww. Anyway, know that yeah, you'll still be connected. It might be a while, but if you repeatedly ask over and over again, you can do the beg, you can do the plead, and you can do the demand. It gets really old and tiresome to them, but they will listen. I know that they will listen, and you might find an unexpected psychic connection. Okay, here's his avocado. Ouch. That didn't go very far this time. Sorry about that. Yeah, that didn't go very far this time. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Now we're playing the keep away thing. Anyway, just know that you can make that connection. You can make that request. Okay. And you stinker. It's a good thing you backed up. You could have hit your head. Yeah, you could have hit your head on the table leg. You crazy puppy. You crazy puppy. Yeah. Anyway. Ouch. So that's what I'm talking about. You go hit your head. Now it's just hitting the avocado. It's his toy avocado. He just loves this thing. So anyway, know that you can do it. Know that it's okay to do it. It might be a while before they get back to you, but they will. I mean, it was probably 6-8 months before they actually got back to me with the link, the psychic link. Oh, yes, we're going to do the squeaky squeaky. Make that connection. Start thinking about it. Start making it a priority in your life to focus on it. and it will eventually happen. Give it up to a year. If it hasn't happened within a year's time, be a little bit more stronger with your request, demand, request, however you want to classify that as. Because there was a point in time to where I got to a point where I got so pissed off, I demanded it, and I demanded it with everything in my being, and I know they felt and heard it. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I got into a bit of trouble in because I guess I put out way too much strong energy over it. So definitely make it to where, yeah, they're going to take notice, but don't do it to where you're going to get reprimanded for it because you don't want to get a reprimandation from them. It's not pleasant. So just know that you can. Know that you can do it. Know that you have the option. If anybody else tells you that it can't be done, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit because it can be done. I'm living example, living proof. The contact that I've had it was regular for a while, and then one of my sons, well, actually, it's mostly the sons that stay in contact with me, like I said, than the daughters. But make that contact, make that request. Go through. Remember, it's okay to grieve that you miss them. It's okay to have those feelings. You are human after all, and human emotions are natural and normal for us. They may not necessarily be for some species and races of ET, but they are for us humans. And that's something that is totally okay. And it's something that we need to pay attention to. Know that it's part of your process as a hybrid mother, because you are a hybrid. You yourself are not a hybrid, but you are the mother host to these hybrid children, and that's okay. And it's okay to be. I know folks that do not like the idea of hybridization, and I understand why. I get it. It's not easy. It's not an easy subject. I sure as hell never anticipated coming out and talking about this, but I knew it was something that I needed to do. I knew that this was an important subject to talk about. And a lot of people talk about it in so many different ways. I want the information out there. I want other women to know that it is okay to talk about this. If you can't talk about this privately, find one of us who are out in public who are willing to talk about this with you privately. There are many of us in the ufology community who are willing to talk to other abductees, other women who are experiencing this. It's not easy to go through. It is a hell of a mind bender and a hell of a mind trip in dealing with all of this. So just know you're not alone in that, but also know that you have the ability within you, whether you choose to believe that or not, you do have it within you to be able to make those connections to your own biological children, hybrid or not. Okay? It's a choice. You have to make that recognition within yourself. Okay? The other thing is just remember that many of us humans that are human women who are in these hybridization programs, you have psychic abilities, whether you choose to believe that or not. no matter what religion you are in. Hello. Oh, Keith's going to be on in 30 minutes. Hey, Kai. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? I'm doing good tonight. I'm tired, but I'm doing good tonight. On the topic of tonight's discussion is hybridization program and human mothers who are having hybrid children. So, anyway, so just know that you've got those abilities within you and that you can do something about it. You are not left with just the grieving process, okay, that you miss your babies. Hello, what are you doing? You think I'm going to reach down there? I'm not. I'm no crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to reach down there. No, I'm not. I can't even see where the hell your mouth is. Yeah, no. There you go. Yeah. Okay, you got to bring it up there because I'm not. Okay, he's yeah, crazy. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, well, that sucked. I ended up on the second stair. Squeaky, squeaky. He just loves this thing. Anyway, before he really gets... Did you remote view anything? No, I didn't. Yeah. No, I haven't remote viewed any of it. I could if I wanted, but I'm just really not into that right now. Although I suppose I could look into good night, Amy. I suppose I could look into that and look to see where my kids are, do the psychic connection thing in that regards and go about it that way, and find out exactly where all my kids are, because a number of years ago I was told that I had 26, and since then I've had a number of more children, and so I'm somewhere at 30 or 31. The person that told me that they've never heard of that many kids, I've heard of women having 60 hybrid children. And the women are in their 60s, and they've, there's a woman that I'm aware of that has over 50 kids. She's talked about having 62, I think, if I remember the correct number. So I know I'm not alone in that. I remember about 15 of them, 13 to 15 of them. But I don't remember them as adults. That makes sense. I remember, hello, not well, then that's yours. I remember them as, I remember their energy more than anything. I know that a couple of them, yeah, actually I do on board ship. Ouch. Okay, that sucked. I recognize them on board ship, and that's a big thing. I don't always recognize them on ship, but you recognize energy more than you recognize, because you don't know what they're going to really look like. Okay. Wow, you got a head. You got a strong head on that body of yours. Yeah, you got a strong head on that body of yours. There you go. So, oh wow, Pull. There you go. So it makes things really interesting. Just know that you can do it and start working on doing it. That is, there's nothing really to teach. There's really nothing to teach on it. It's, you have that psychic link to your infant from the time they are with you. Come here. You. Yeah. Not on my leg, you will not. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Strong. Hello. Ooh. So, just know that you can do it and work on doing it. You know, make it so that if you have abilities, and everybody has abilities to some degree, just work on it. Work on it from your core, from your gut, kind of like from the pit of your stomach, end of your diaphragm type of thing. Work it up into your chakra system, into your pineal gland, and then up through the top of your chakra system, and go that route. And eventually, hey, come on. Eventually, you will get that connection that you're looking for. It might take a while, but you'll get it there. Yeah, mister, I'm going to lick everything. Yeah, hello. So, work on it. Individually, take your time and work on it. You will be able to get there. No, you don't need to lick absolutely everything. That's enough. So that's it. That's all I've got to talk about right now. Trying to think. This weekend is Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day. So for me, this is going to be a rough weekend. Today's been good. But I've got, it's the same kind of time frame that when my grandfather died. And then, of course, not having Mom and not being able to see her. Although she has made some interesting statements recently, like when I'm getting dressed. Only my mother can make statements about a bra. I'm like, oh dear God. Hello, Mom. So, or whoa, hello. Yeah, okay, it's yours. There you go. So it's just, even though I hear from Mom, it's not like having her physically here. But, and I'm very glad that she's doing okay. There are some things that I know that she doesn't like, here and there with certain things, but she's made her voice known. And it's like having my mom back, which is really nice. That means the world to me, means everything. But it's still missing her and her physical presence. But yet I'm glad that we're back to licking. I'm glad she's doing well and that she's okay. That means more to me really than anything. She's no longer on this physical mortal coil, as we say. But for all moms out there, whether you're a human mother who is got human children, or you're a human mom and you have adoptive kids, you're still mom. Whether you can, you are the hybrid, you are the human mother who is the host body, surrogate body to one or numerous hybrid children, extraterrestrial human hybrid children. I wish all moms out there, no matter where you are or what's going on in your life, I wish you a happy Mother's Day. Moms have it rough sometimes, and sometimes really, really rough. So, and know that things are good. Figure out how to work on things and work on all of this stuff regarding regarding hybridization program connections, shall we say. Woo Writers, Nikki, can you remote view to see the outcome of the conflict and also I can, but I'm not going to, because if I do that, then I start seeing, and people might get really mad at me for saying that. I haven't. This could have big implications for globally in the near upcoming future. Yeah, I'm not going to do that tonight. Tonight, we're focusing in on moms and hybridization program and hybrid kids and being a surrogate mom. But I will consider looking at that, Woo Writers. I'll consider looking at that over the course of this next week. So I'm not going to say 100% no on it, but I am going to say no on it for tonight. On that note, I hope you have a rest of a good weekend, since it's a Saturday. It's Saturday night right now. Saturday, May 10th, 2025. So, and hello to my grandchild, who in the very, very distant future will be watching this. Hey, darling. Anyway, I just psychic hit. I love my family. Anyway, take very good care of yourself. Remember, you can do things. You do have abilities, and you can make those connections. Make sure you work on it, and make sure, that's the other thing, journal it. If you're going to start making these connections, start journaling when you start journaling how you started and the process that you've gotten to, because that will be your really good documentation. Yellow, I knew that was coming. That'll be your really good documentation as to how things progress for you. And it will be your documentation for what's taken place. That's kind of a big thing, especially if you need to make realization. Oh, please don't lick the leg. Especially if you make realizations about how things are happening. It's real important for those journal notes. Woo Writers, happy early Mother's Day to all moms out there. 18 minutes away from Mother's Day here. Yeah. I wish everybody a beautiful Mom's Day, whether mom is here or not. She's still in your heart, and you can reach out. You believe me. And you're going to reach out to the other side, start paying attention to responses that you might get. You might be surprised at the responses that you get from the other side. Write them down. It makes a difference. Anyway, much love. Take very good care of yourselves, guys and gals. Bye.